Alright, onto the back side of the page. Part 5 says write an equation for each plan to represent the number of text messages x and the number of voice minutes y you'll be able to use with the $25. You should be able to write a separate equation for each plan. Well, we should probably separate our little plot here. So we got plan A and we got plan B, and we're supposed to write equations. So once again, with this equation building stuff, you have to think about the situation and how the numbers relate to each other. Okay, both of them, no matter what plan you're using, you're gonna get up to 25 total. Okay, your cost. Whoops, I didn't mean to put that. You notice how it only has two variables, the x and the y, and it really doesn't say write an equation that describes the cost. You're supposed to write it so you'll be able to use what you'll be able to use with $25. So $25 for both is our total. So let's just put equals 25 on both. Equals 25. Okay. But what makes up the $25 depends on what your which plan you use. So let's look over at plan A real quick. Boom, boom, boom. Back here to the front. Plan A, you get 5 cents a minute with voice and 15 cents per text. So we should write out if you send X number of text messages, you have to take that number and you have to times it by 0.15. So you should do 0.15x. And then you have to add on the 5 cents per minute. So if you know your number of minutes, y, you take that and you times it by 0.05. And that gives you how much it's going to cost, well, how much your total minutes of talking costs it to be. So the x part is when you send x number of text messages, you take that number, x, and you times it by 0.15. When you talk, looking at the y part, when you talk for y minutes in a month, you take however many minutes that is, and you times it by 0.05. So here's our first equation. Whatever the total is, it has to be able to reach 25, and that exactly, because it's asking what we'll be able to use with 25. And that's it. We're done. We don't have to write anything else. And plan B is going to be basically the same thing. So jump back here. 10 cents a minute for voice, 5 cents per text message. So instead of 0.15 for x, we got 0.05x, because that's for text messages. And we have to add in 0.1y, because it's 10 cents per minute. And ta-da, your equations are done. And now we're supposed to graph the two equations on the same coordinate grid. Yeah, that's looking great. So we have to start out and realize that we got a little bit different. We don't have integer numbers here. It takes a little bit more examination of the situation to figure out what our numbers are going to be. And also notice that our amount doesn't go, we don't want it to go above 25. So really, we should solve both of these equations for y, because typically you have y going up and then x going to the right. And it's much easier to deal with if you have things in the form of y equals mx plus b. So let's jump to here and let's solve them both for y. Okay, to solve our, whoops, that's going to look ugly. To solve our equation on the left side for y, you got to get rid of the x. So subtract the point, and man, I wish things could erase Drew better here. You have to subtract the x stuff from both sides, and now you got 0.05y equals 25 minus the x stuff, 0.15x. Okay, and now we're going to get rid of this 0.05 business. And what you do to one side, you do to the other. And we get y equals, and that stuff on the right side. So, what you can do is you have to divide each piece of that by 0.05. So take 25, divide by 0.05, and you're going to get this big old number, 500. And on the right side, you get 0.15 divided by 0.05, and you get the magical number of 3x. Okay, now we got y equals mx plus b form. Right side, you're going to do the same steps, minus 0.05x from both sides, get 0.1y equals 25 minus 0.05x, and we want to get rid of the 0.1 in front of the y, so divide both sides by that. And remember, you have to divide each term by 0.1, so take 25, divide by 0.1 to get you 250, and take 0.05 and divide by 0.1 to get 0.5x. So notice how we have some really big numbers here. We got 500 and 250, and we have really small numbers, 3 and 0.5. It actually gives us a little challenge in our graph, but we can deal with it and go from there. And that's going to be in the next video because it's already almost 7 minutes.